In this video, I want to tell you about logarithm. The history of logarithm is pretty interesting, and I cannot justify just explaining what logarithm is in one short video. Three things I want to tell really quick is, first of all, logarithm is very useful, and the name is confusing, because the person, or I should say persons mostly responsible for logarithm, didn't first realize that a logarithm is inverse of exponential function. They didn't know that. And so the name logarithm stuck, and it is confusing. So try not to dig into meaning of logarithm itself, because if you go to the dictionary and look it up, it's not going to make sense to you. So important things are to remember that logarithm functions are the inverse of exponential functions. And in general, more specifically, this you must memorize, that some y equals some base to the power of x in the language of exponential function means, or can be translated in the language of logarithm, to log base, some base, same base as here, of y equal x. So we can think of this as b to the power of x equals y. Once again, b to the power of x equals y is the language of exponential, and log b of y equals x is the same thing in the language of logarithm. Now let's practice this just a little bit, going back and forth between logarithm and exponential. So let's start with some exponential. We know that 5 to the power of 3, or 5 cubed, equals 125. 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. If I wanted to write that in the language of logarithm, I could say log base 5. Remember, this was my base right here. So log base 5 of 125 equals 3. So remember that 5 to the power of 3 is 125. Log base 5 of 125 equals 3. How about this another one? We know that 10 to the power of 3 equals, or 10 cubed equals 1,000. So if I want to write that in logarithmic form, I can say log base 10 of 1,000 equals 3. In other words, 10 to the power of 3 equals 1,000. Now, one thing to remember here is that in mathematics, most of the time, when the log has base 10, we just don't write it. It is understood that if you say log of 1,000 equals 3, we mean log base 10. So base 10 is something that we don't have to write down. Let's do like one with decimal. Well, let's say that I know that 10 to the negative 4, okay, which is 1 over 10 to the power of 4 equals 0.0001, 1 over 10,000. So if I want to write that in logarithmic form, I'm going to write down log base 10 of 0.0001 equals 4. In other words, 10 to the power of, negative 4. Let me give myself from here, negative 4. 10 to the power of negative 4 is 0.0001. I could easily rewrite this as log of 0.0001 equals negative 4. Once again, we don't have to, for log base 10, writing the base is not necessary. Let's do a couple more. How about I know, let's say 8 to the negative 1 equals 1 over 8. And let's say I want to write that in logarithmic form. So I can say log base 8 of 1 over 8 equals negative 1. 8 to the negative 1 equals 1 over 8. And how about the other way around? Let's have some logarithmic form and exchange it with exponential form. How about if I have log base 2 of 16 equals 4? How can I write that in exponential format? I can simply say 2 to the power of 4 equals 16. How about log base 4 of x equals 3? I can write that 4 to the third power equals 4 to the third power equals x. So x equals 4 cubed, which is 64. Okay, how about log base 7 of 49 equals 2. Okay, 7 to the second power equals 49. How about log of 1000 equals 3? Well, here I know this is the same as log base 10 of 1000 equals 3. So in exponential form, I have 10 to the power of 3 equals 1000. And one last thing I want to tell you is a very special base E that is, I'll do a different video explaining what E is, that we know that as a base for natural logs. And the reason it is called natural logs because it's appearing in nature very frequently. Once again, I'll do a separate video on the number E itself. So if I say natural log of 1 equals 0, this is a 1. Natural log, let me put it in parentheses, natural log of 1 equals 0. And this is the same as, first of all, some students asked, wait a minute, you're saying natural log, shouldn't this be NL of 1 instead of LN of 1? Well, it's just the semantic of the language, like in many languages like Spanish, you don't say black cow, you say cow black. So don't let that confuse you. This natural log of 1 equals 0, in fact, it means that log base E, that special number that I'll be doing a video for you, of 1 equals 0. So in terms of exponential function, I can say that E to the power of 0 equals 1. Well, I hope this, gave you enough to practice for now. Like I said, I'll do another video on E, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.